test and factory reportage is the driving principle for this program, in order to bring government activities to the doorstep of the people. Now, let's go through the highlights of today's report. In River State, CPDSU commissions Public Complaints Response Unit building. In Ayala State, man kills driver over 200 naira bribe. In Ayala State, unknown gunmen kill 2 soldiers. And on Power, discuss monthly revenue rise by 5 billion naira amid outage. We would go on a short break, and when we return, we go straight to the details. Stay tuned.
They jack us up and down like this now.
I hope nobody carry belly.
Why you ask? Oh?
Because this road where they see, so it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Road so in no day. Light to USA. The infrastructure the country to be for
corruption, everything. Hello?
Hello, ma. Madam, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Mrs. Ayeni. I am calling from the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You of order.
Honorable they are not picking our calls. They made up their mind.
So no agreement with the EU, but
into the details for today. The River State Commissioner of Police, CP Olatunji Disu, on Thursday, 30th May 2024, commissioned the Public Complaint Response Unit building of the Nigeria Police, located inside the headquarters, Moscow Road, Port Harcourt. CP Disu, in his address, disclosed that the story building started a long time ago by visionary police officers before him. The Police Committee Relations Committee, PCRC Chairman in River State, Mr. Voke Emore, in his remark said, "We as PCRC, our responsibility is to bring the community closer to the police. PCRC, we appreciate what CP Disu is doing. He is gallant, exceptional in the police force. That is why we have achieved so much as a command." Dr. Henry Wodu, another sponsor of the project, in his remarks, urged members of the public to contribute their quota by giving back to the society, as there is no other country than Nigeria. High point of the event was the cutting of the ribbon by the Commissioner of Police, River State, signifying. Correspondent reports that Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations Ubenga Adepoju, Deputy Commissioner of Police Finance and Administration, DCP Samuel Erale, Administration and Finance, ACP Eroju Barisua, His Royal Majesty Joseph Alago, Reverse Police Public Relations Officer, SP Grace Iringe Koko, PCRC members, other police officers were all in attendance. Suspected armored cable thief has been electrocuted while trying to steal from a transformer in the Mboba NTA axis of Obiakpo local government area of River State. Eyewitness said the suspect swung into operation at about 3 a.m. on Thursday near a popular Pentecostal church when there was a blackout, but was trapped when the power supply was restored, and the suspect was severely. Another eyewitness, who gave his name as Chika, said the man is known within the area and his remains were removed by the police and officials of the Port Harcourt Electricity Distribution Company after residents of the area alerted them of the incident later today. When contacted, the spokesperson of the State Police Command, Grace Iringe Koko, said investigations are ongoing on the matter. There's more news, but don't forget you can connect with us and watch us on ATN Socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic Network 1, X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website on www.atlanticnetwork.tv. A policeman in Bayelsa State has killed a driver in Layefa Bako Asiaye over his alleged refusal to give 200 naira bribe. The incident happened along Azikora Road in Yenagoa, the state's capital. Death of the driver has attracted condemnation from the public and human rights. The Trigger Happy Cop, who is attached to the police special patrol team in the operations to Akbo, is yet to be identified as at the time of filing this report. The late Asiaye, who is said to be 40-year-old and a father of 3, was an electrician who used his car for commercial purposes in the evening to get additional income for his family needs. Chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has expressed the Commission's readiness to conduct a credible governorship election in the forthcoming governorship poll in Edo State. Yakubu, who disclosed the assurance following last Friday's heavy downpour that destroyed critical infrastructure at the same INEC office, said the affected facilities would be prepared or replaced, stressing that since the Edo governorship election is an off-cycle election, The Commission would also borrow equipment from neighboring states to ensure a hitch-free exercise. Yakubu, who spoke in Benin City while inspecting the damaged facilities, also monitored the level of compliance with the ongoing continuous voters registration and collection of permanent voters' cards, said. The Commission was prepared for the election in Edo State and the next one in Ondo, where he said the continuous voters registration will commence very soon. Speaking earlier, the resident electoral commissioner, Dr. Anubom Onuoha, said the flood could be termed a blessing in disguise as it has better prepared them for the election. Unknown gunmen reportedly enforcing the sit-at-home in commemoration of the May 30th have reportedly killed 2 soldiers following an attack on their patrol van. The incident, which happened in the early hours of Thursday at Obikabia Junction, Obo Hill, Aba, Abia State, according to a viral video circulating online. It was gathered that the military men stationed at Obikabia Abia Junction in Abia State were attacked by masked gunmen numbering over 15 and their van set ablaze. The incident has caused pandemonium in the area, forcing people to live in fear of reprisals from the military. An eyewitness who spoke to correspondents said the military men were outnumbered by the enforcers. Continuing, he narrated the gunmen came in an SUV Jeep and Sienna and attacked the military men at the junction. The gunmen were all masked and outnumbered the military, killing 2 of them. Ebonyi state government says it has spent 17.3 billion naira on remedial works at the Chuba Okadibo International Airport runway in Abakaliki. Governor Francis Wilfuru, who disclosed this in Abakaliki on his first anniversary, said, on assumption of his office, his administration cleared the backlog areas of 5 months' salaries owed airport workers, while major repairs in the terminal building and control tower have commenced in earnest and in an advanced stage. Wilfuru said his administration had taken deliberate steps to improve the state security architecture within his 1 year in office, adding that security was central to any development efforts and successful implementation of his administration's programs and policies. Wilfuru listed some of the rural roads started and completed to include Umwagara Power Station Road, Legacy FM Road on concrete pavements, and Ubudoichi Market Iziogu Road, adding that his administration was focused on creating an enabling environment for a public-private sector partnership, which he said was critical to the economic growth of the state. 2-story building has collapsed in the Ishale Eko area of Lagos State, causing fear and alarm amongst residents. While many people are reportedly trapped in the structure alleged to have been defective. The integrity of the building is said to have been compromised following fire outbreak in the parts of Dosomu markets on Lagos Island. The Lagos Territorial Coordinator of the National Emergency Management Agency, Ibrahim Farinloye, who confirmed the incident, said 14 other buildings were seriously impacted by the fire, while in April, 4 buildings collapsed due to the intensity of the fire that engulfed parts of Dosomu Market on Lagos Island. He also said emergency responders at the scene of the event include NEMA, federal and state fire services, as well as the Nigerian police and the fire service of the Nigeria Ports Authority. Nigerian Union of Journalists in Oyo State Council has appealed to Governor Seyi Makinde and security agencies in the state to deploy more operatives to the Ogbomosho and Oke-Ogun areas of the state. The union said the call became necessary in order to tackle the menace of kidnapping and other criminal activities in the areas. NUJ made the call in a communique issued at the end of its monthly Congress and appealed to Governor Seyi Makinde and security agencies in the state to deploy more operatives to the Ogbomosho and Oke-Ogun areas of the state. The communique, signed by the NUJ Secretary, Comrade Olushola Oladapo, urged the governor to address the issue of overpopulation in most of the public secondary schools in the state. Suspected terrorists have killed 12 persons in Maro Ward, Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, while 20 others who sustained various degrees of injuries have been taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. A former chairman of the local government, Kafra Kano, who confirmed that the assailants invaded the market and shot sporadically. According to him, 12 bodies have so far been recovered, while 20 others who sustained various degrees of injuries are now receiving treatment at a nearby hospital. Adding that, it was the second time the weekly market had been attacked by the terrorists, while business owners and customers were transacting businesses. He also said the situation was critical and has thrown residents around the area into confusion, while they scampered for safety in the neighboring villages. The State Police Public Relations Officer, ASP Mansia Hassan, is yet to make any other comments on the matter. Analysts has called on the Gombe State government to ensure justice for the 12-year-old who was amputated by his uncle. Speaking on Atlantic Society Watch, a public affairs analyst, John Kelly, said the Gombe State government must make sure that justice is served concurrently.
Nobody's guilty until being proven or found guilty. So, you as the uncle, you claim he stole the phone. And for that, you have passed judgment on him. And not just passing judgment on him, you had to cut off his 2 hands. It's so terrible. I really don't even know what to say to the uncle. But this is something the law enforcement agencies and the law need to look into squarely in the part of the uncle. Because I won't even believe that it's because of the phone the uncle had to do this to the child. Something.
John Kelly also spoke on the need for government-owned charity establishments across the country to avert the occurrence of child abuse.
Actually are trying to pull them off the street. The question is, when they pull them off the street, what do you do with them? You see, in most cases, they now send them to their state. As what? To go to their state and do what? And be hungry? These things are things of institutions. For instance, let me even on now. There is what is called charity homes. Government is supposed to have. It's supposed to have a place where you take the less privileged to. Now this is outside the what's it called, the orphanage.
Okay.
This is outside the orphanage. This is a state-owned charity home. There are people in these states, there are people in this country who are willing to donate wherever. They are willing. This minute they're even looking for where to go donate, to give out things. When they see people on the street, they can't freely give because you don't know.
This is coming after the Gombe state government said it had filed charges against a man in the state who amputated the two hands of his nephew, identified only as Adamo. Zamfara State Governor Dauda Lawal says his administration inherited over 13 billion naira pension and gratuity backlogs from the previous governments. The governor, who disclosed this during his one-year anniversary ceremony in Gusau, the state capital, said, from the inception of his administration to date, he has settled over 5 billion naira pensions and gratuity backlogs. Lawal also said his administration was working round the clock to rescue the state socially and economically, stressing that the sectors of security, education, youth empowerment, as well as agriculture, healthcare, and good governance will continue to receive much emphasis as part of his administration's rescue mission. The governor appealed to the people of the state to remain law-abiding citizens and supports the good policies and programs of his administration to actualize the goals. You are watching Government and Public Service reports on Atlantic Television Network. We will be back after this break. Stay with us.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human traffickers.
Honorable
You understand.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
So no agreement with the EU, but
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
You human traffickers.
Honorable
You understand.
They are not picking our calls. They made up their minds.
so no agreement with the EU, but
Govt and Public Service reports on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. Operators of the Plateau State Police Command have arrested a middle-aged man allegedly trying to supply arms to suspected bandits in Jos. The suspect, who was also alleged to have arrived in Jos from Zamfara State on Wednesday evening, was apprehended opposite the NTA Park while trying to deliver the arms to suspected bandits. Confirming the incident to newsman in Jos, the chairman of the Jos NTA Park, Ibrahim Maikudi, narrated how the suspect was nearly lynched by an angry mob before he was rescued by the security operatives. The park chairman narrated how men from the Special Investigations Bureau unit of the police came and arrested the suspect, while the spokesman of the Plateau State Police Command, Alabo Alfred, could not be reached for comments on the incident. President Bola Tinubu has vowed to drop any member of his cabinet whom he feels falls short of the expectations of the Nigerians. Speaking at the meeting with the leadership of Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, in the presidential villa on Thursday, the president said he will continue his best for the country. He also appealed to the state government to prioritize the needs of local communities by ensuring accountability and effectiveness in the administration of local governments. Speaking on the significance of education in nation building, the president described the situation of out-of-school children in parts of Nigeria as unacceptable. On security, President Tinubu commended the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, for his efforts, saying, "Everybody wants to be secure, and we need to invest more in technology. We will do it, I promise you. We will put our hearts and soul in ensuring that Nigeria is secure and its citizens are protected." The president also addressed economic development and livestock management, stating, "Animal husbandry has been a huge problem for Nigeria. Dairy farms can grow our economy significantly." President Tinubu also used the occasion to appeal for national unity and continued support for his government. He directed the establishment of a committee to follow up on the issues raised at the meeting and assigned the secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, to lead the follow-up efforts. The leader of the delegation and chairman, Board of Trustees of ACF, Barrister Bashir Dalhatu, congratulated President Tinubu on his first year in office and expressed the forum's appreciation for his achievements and service to the country. He said President Tinubu's commitments and assurances to Northerners during the election campaign proved to be a game changer. Barrister Dalhatu said Northern Nigeria reposes strong trust and confidence in President Tinubu. The president has officially flagged off the commercial operations of the Abuja Rail Mass Transit System, otherwise known as Abuja Light Rail, as part of the administration's first anniversary. President Tinubu, who during the inauguration of the Abuja Rail Mass Transit System said he never expected that the FCT Minister, Barrister Nyesom Wike, could complete the rehabilitation process in the short period of time. Despite the compact condition of light rail station where he emerged presidency, he therefore, in appreciation, thanks Wike for his commitment while declaring free rides on the train till the end of this year.
The Abuja Metro was inherited by my administration from my predecessor. It was first commissioned in 2018 for public use, but this is not to be. COVID-19 struck. The train service was abandoned, vandalized then, misused and abused. the assurance that I will be able to ride on the metro line. He laughed, nod his head. I am very proud that today we deliver on that promise. Abuja Lightway Metro serves as a symbol of progress, connectivity, inclusivity. It signifies our determination to modernize our transportation infrastructure, reduce traffic congestion in the city, and enhance accessibility to all residents, be it visitors within and outside Abuja. Today, what we have in the Federal Capital Territory is another piece of evidence that we are a government that deliver on promises. I observe keenly other milestones that this administration has achieved, especially in the areas of social services and other public utilities. Our dear landlords and esteemed, I heard you saying 2 months free ride. I appeal to you to make it till the end of the year.
While the chief host of the event, the Honorable Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, said, the vision to rehabilitate the light rail, which with construction of access roads to various stations started with the President as he demanded to ride on the train, and that was effectively supported by the Central Bank of Nigeria, Ministry of Finance and Accountant General of the Federation.
But why do you say you want to ride on it? Because it was not operational. And that was why you said you want to ride on it. If it was operational, you wouldn't have given that directive, because it was not operational, and you gave a marching order that we must make it to be operational for the interest of the residents of Abuja. Yeah. And one of the things that impeded the operation was that how could you have built train stations without access roads? Take for example, if I'm living at Idu and I want to use Idu station, how do I go to Idu station? There's no road to Idu station. So there's no way people could have access to the train station. And that was why the issue of becoming operation was not there. And so when you said you wanted to ride on the train station, we came back and when I said, look, what are we going to do? We called the executive secretary of FCDA and said, look, the president has directed that he wants to ride on this train station. And we calculated from that period till he had 1 year in office, how many months? There are about 9 months. And we said, is it possible that we can actualize this assignment within 9 months? Of course, Mr. President, the contract for the rehabilitation of this railway was given in 2018. And it was awarded at the cost of $30 billion. And that was not paid. It was a directive that we had to plead with the Central Bank, plead with the Minister of Finance and the Accountant General. They all came together to say, look, support us. This is the directive Mr. President has given. And I can tell you that the Governor of Central Bank and his team did everything and paid that money to CC.
The minister also said he will ensure the financial implementation of the project from start to the finishing point.
Having finished paying that, now what do we do with the roads? The cost of those roads was 7 lots cost us 21.4 billion naira. As I speak to you today, all those roads are completed. Car parks for people to use to the various train stations. So what we're doing today is not that we are commissioning metro. No. And people, because I have heard people say that this has been commissioned before. What was commissioned in the metro station? Not the operational. Because you can't have a train station when it is not in use. So it was a directive. That's why we're here today. The last government awarded to CCECC to train those who will operate this train at the cost of $128 million to train our people for 29 months. So we came back and we called the company. It is like you want to sabotage the business of this metro line. Where are we going to get $128 million? Which people are you trading? Are you trading all of them in China or where? Your Excellency, we sat down with them and said, not possible. We renegotiated with them. Today, they're putting down to $75 billion. Which means we have saved not more than $50 million. 128 approved by the Executive Council in the last administration.
Amid complaints of low power generation, the electricity distribution companies were able to raise monthly revenue from 95 billion naira in January to 100 billion naira in March 2024. According to data released by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, 97 billion naira revenue was generated in February. Our correspondent observed that the rise in revenue occurred at a time when the country experienced a huge drop in power supply as a result of gas shortages. Data from the NERC show this cluster received 2,577 gigawatt hours of power and billed 2,072 gigawatts of the energy received. According 80% billing efficiency in January, it was stated that 130.9 billion naira was the total billing, while the total revenue collected stood at 95 billion naira, representing 72% billing efficiency. The allowed average tariff rate in the month was 59.89 naira per kilowatt, and the actual average connection was 36.97 kilowatts. 36.97 kilowatts watts. It noted that the total energy received by this class in February dropped to 2,149 kilowatts, out of which 1,759 kilowatts was billed by the discos, adding that 97 billion naira revenue was collected from 113 billion naira billings. The 1,975 kilowatts energy was billed in March from the 2,468 kilowatts received, while 100 billion naira was generated from the 126.5 billion naira billings. The rise in revenue is traceable to an increase in tariff, as the NERC said the allowed average tariff for March was 62.73 kilowatts, while the actual average collection was 40.69 kilowatts. In March, the Ikeja discos had the highest revenue of 20 billion naira, followed by Eko and Abuja discos with 16.7 billion naira each. Ibadan discos generated 10 billion naira during the period under review, while Benin and Enugu ranked in 7.5 billion naira and 6.9 billion naira respectively, according to the NERC. Within the first quarter of the 2024, the discos were said to have generated 292 billion naira. In January, Nigeria was thrown into a nationwide blackout due to gas shortages, as gas companies refused to supply gas to electricity generating companies due to unpaid debts. The power generation that had been hovering around 4,000 megawatts dropped drastically below 2,500 megawatts at a point, affecting the capacity of the distribution companies to supply electricity to their consumers. While the issue of gas shortages had electricity subsidies in the areas categorized as Band A, raising the tariff to 206 naira per kilowatt hour as labor unions took to the streets to kick against the tariff hike, calling for a reversal, the Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu said the reverse tariff would transform the Nigerian power sector with enough liquidity. Adelabu stated that the policy was already attracting local and foreign investors to the power sector. Federal government has disbursed a total sum of 20.11 billion naira to 402,000 residential conditional grant scheme. The beneficiaries selected from the 774 local government areas received a direct payments to their bank accounts via their bank verification number. This information was disclosed in a document exclusively obtained from the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment. It targets 70% of women and youths, 10% of people with disabilities, and 5% of senior citizens. It was also said only 1 million out of the 3.6 million applicants for the conditional grants will be selected as recipients. While President Bola Tinubu, on October 17, 2023, launched the Renewed Hope conditional cash transfer to 15 million households, adding that the scheme was only to benefit people with nano businesses seeking to expand, be willing to formally register the businesses and hire at least one additional person as their turnover increases. The Trade Minister, Doris Anyete, also said the objective is to distribute funds to an estimated 1,290 beneficiaries per local government area across the country. The federal government has paid a total of 2.7 billion naira compensation to those affected by ongoing demolitions relating to the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project. Umahi, who disclosed this, said the project has not been cancelled as alleged in some quarters. Adding that, by Monday next week, another 7.13 billion naira would be the second phase of compensation, would be paid to those whose properties that were affected. Umahi said the development would improve the Ugwaja community through the coast. Armed Forces of Nigeria says its troops has killed over 624 terrorists and arrested 1,051 informants, including the logistics supplier, while 563 hostages were rescued. Directed Nigerian military across its theaters within the month of May. Major General also said troops denied the oil theft of an estimated sum of over 700 million naira and recovered 707 assorted weapons. 16,408 joint operations in synergy with other security and intelligence agencies contributed to the optimal performance of the troops on its other operations.
Our troops are admirably making progress in the ongoing counterinsurgency and counter-terrorism operations across the country, and this will continue until the terrorists are completely decimated. The progress made is true cumulation of the killing of the terrorist leaders, their commanders, their most important assets, terrorist commanders, coupled with the international pressure as well as media, all combined to destroy the will to fight of the terrorists and their cohorts. Now, during the month of May, the potency of the terrorists was largely degraded with over 624 terrorists neutralized, including their logistics suppliers and informants arrested, while 563 hostages were rescued.
Especially recent attacks on military personnel in Banex Plaza, Abuja.
Irrespective of what happened in Banex, jungle justice is not the way to go. Jungle justice is not the way to go for civilians, neither is it the way to go for a military person. And therefore, it is all shades of wrong. In arm's way to protect one, the nation, to guarantee two, your safety and your security. Tell me that this is not counterproductive and self-sabotage. Because if this is not counterproductive, and if this is not self-sabotage, I wonder what else is. If our troops err, we have a military justice system to address it. So what do? You report is the most reasonable thing to do. You report it.
Offered the 36 state governors of the Federation 7 days to file their defense in the suit brought against them by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi San. The Apex Court issued the AGF 2 days to file his reply upon receipt of the governor's defense. A 7-man panel of the Apex Court, led by Justice Garuba Lawal, issued the order application for a bridge time argued by Fagbemi, adding that the decision of the court was predicated on the national urgency of the suit and the non-objection from the Attorney General of the States of the Federation. The Apex Court held that filing of all processes and exchanging of same must be completed within the time, and also ordered all state attorney generals absent to be present in the court on the adjourned date, and the 8 states whose attorney general were absent in court, despite being served with hearing notice, were Borno, Kano, Kogi, Niger, Ogun, Osun, Oyo, and Sokoto. The Attorney General of Ebonyi State and the chairman of the body of State Attorneys General, Dr. Ben Odo, speaking on behalf of the other Attorney Generals, said they had a meeting and had no objection to the suit. House Committee on Shipping Services and Related Matters says the Nigerian Shipping and Port Economic Regulatory Bill, Agency Bill, when passed into law, would curb arbitrary charges at the country's ports. The chairman of the committee, Abdul Samad Dasuki, who disclosed this in Abuja after a public hearing on the repeal of the Nigerian Shippers Council Act, said, would also tackle other illegality from operators in the nation's maritime industry, adding that the committee was still collating memorandum from various stakeholders on the bill before going ahead to present the report before the House of Representatives for the 3rd reading. According to Dasuki, the next step would be to present the report to the House of Representatives for consideration. Also, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Boyega Oyetola, said the new bill, when passed into law, would enthrone the regulatory framework in the Nigerian maritime industry. The minister, represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Olufemi, also said the ministry is willing to partner with all stakeholders in the sector, especially the National Assembly, to enthrone regulatory framework for the marine and blue economy industry. Nigeria Football Federation is considering Spain as training camp for the Super Falcons ahead of the 2024 Olympic Games. According to Nigeria Football NG, the NFF wants the team to camp in Spain to acclimatize to the weather conditions in France. Randy Waldrum's sides are scheduled to camp in the European country from 5th to 16 July, while 9-time African champions are also expected to play one high-profile friendly match while in Spain. The Super Falcons will face world champions Spain Japan, and Brazil in Group C at Paris 2024, while the West Africans will open the campaign against Brazil at Stade de Bulldogs on July 25th, while taking on Spain 3 days later in the Nantes, and later Japan on July 31st in the same venue. The 2024 Olympic Games will run from July 25th to August 10th. This is where we wrap it up on today's edition of Government and Public Service Report on Atlantic Television Network in the city of Port Harcourt. You can stay connected with us on our socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, X, formerly Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website on www.atlanticnetwork.tv. Remember, peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thanks for watching. I am Divine Bernard. Have a good day.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on